man that look like me. He looked at me and he said, man, what it feel like, you know? What it feel like to be in a place where you intimate with your and you start seeing things on a different level. Yeah. Hey, look. What it feel like to be on this pursuit for you to get a crown. My genetic code been tapped by the heaven, bloodline no longer bound. My son, he won't be bound by no anger because his daddy down. On mama silent, won't give a word when she got healing sound. His mother speaking, helping my weakness so he can be profound. This domino, cause and effect, show me what I lost, I found. It's back to it. My elders in 70s, they put crack to it because the home was broken. The king got there, so the sack ruling. 2000, now the trap ruling. The same different stories, killers for leader don't got no morals, but it's stats ruling. Dang, they hate it when the rats ruling. I hate it when the rats possum snakes, wicked past ruling. Dang, sell outs for role models. She put on for the gram to get an image. That's when she act, cause she's a role model. Yeah, lights, camera, action. This world ain't got no truth in it. I'll be out, this world ain't got no truth in it. Yeah. Ain't it beautiful how time flies? Unity with my brother was beautiful until it end up on the downside. Ain't no rivalry with me. All I ever want was peace. We disagreed to say the least, but I still hope to see you free. All these heavy burdens that we hold, at some point we gotta see to let it go. Do what I should've did better, but I could've did better. It was never your fault, but you just wanna show your efforts, yeah. Cause you care, you wanna see your brother straight. It don't always work like that, no. Cause you care, you wanna see your brother straight. And it still send a shock just to know that my granny, she gone. And I won't get to see her when I visit back home. Every single moment I get my all. And if I get a chance to love, I gotta show it all. So I'ma stay mission-minded. Now voice, I'm declaring silence. When you alone feel like an island. I said when you alone feel like an island. Praise God, I'm not alone no more. But that dark state of mind used to be my home. And I still remember the lyrics that come from that song. Sad song over and over, this the saddest song. Sad song over and over, this the saddest song. I really don't miss it a bit. That old man try to come back and exist. And I gotta keep going over again and over again and over again. And this is what it feel like. Just to see from that real life. Said this is what it feel like. This is what it feel like. Said this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. This is what it Yeah. What it feel like. I seen a man that look like me. He looked at me and he said, man, what it feel like, you know? What it feel like to be in a place where you intimate with your and you start seeing things on a different level. Yeah. Hey, look. What it feel like to be on this pursuit for you to get a crown. My genetic code been tapped by the heaven, bloodline no longer bound. My son, he won't be bound by no anger because his daddy down. On mama silent, won't give a word when she got healing sound. His mother speaking, helping my weakness so he can be profound. This domino, cause and effect, show me what I lost, I found. It's back to it. My elders in 70s, they put crack to it because the home was broken. The king got there, so the sack ruling. 2000, now the trap ruling. The same different stories, killers for The leader don't got no morals, but his stats ruling. Dang, they hate it when the rats ruling. I hate it when the rats possum snakes, wicked past ruling. Dang, dang, dang. Sell outs for role models. She put on for the gram to get an image. That's when she act, cause she's a role model, yeah. Lights, camera, action, this world ain't got no truth in it. I'll be honest, this world ain't got no truth in it, yeah, yeah. Ain't it beautiful how time flies? Unity with my brother was beautiful until it end up on the downside. Ain't no rivalry with me. All I ever want was peace. We disagreed to say the least, but I still hope to see you free. All these heavy burdens that we hold, at some point we gotta see to let it go. To what I should've did better, but I could've did better. It was never your fault, but you just wanna show your efforts, yeah, yeah. Cause you care, you wanna see your brother straight. It don't always work like that, no. Cause you care, you wanna see your brother straight. And it still send a shock just to know that my granny, she gone. And I won't get to see her when I visit back home. Every single moment I get my all. And if I get a chance to love, I gotta show it all. So I'ma stay mission-minded. Now voice, I'm declaring silence. When you alone feel like an island. I said when you alone feel like an island. Praise God, I'm not alone no more. But that dark state of mind used to be my home. And I still remember the lyrics that come from that song. Sad song over and over, this the saddest song. Sad song over and over, this the saddest song. I really don't miss it a bit. But that old man try to come back and exist. And I gotta keep conquering them over again and over again and over again. And this is what it feel like. Just to see from that real life. Said this is what it feel like. This is what it feel like.
Told Rabbi Yahuwah. Told Rabbi Yahuwah. Told Rabbi Father. Told Rabbi Yahuwah. For your wonderful worthy to be praised. Told Rabbi Yahuwah. Oh, you wonderful worthy to be praised, Yahuwah. Told Rabbi Yahuwah. Told Rabbi for your barakot, Father, your shalom, your ahava. Oh, Yahuwah, how excellent is your name across the earth. How wonderful are your ways, Yahuwah. But there's no one like you, Father.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, look, what it feel like to be on this pursuit for you to get a crown. My genetic code been tapped by the heaven bloodline, no longer bound. My son, he won't be bound by no anger because his daddy down. On mama silent, won't give a word when she got healing signs. Mother speaking, helping my weakness so he can be profound.
Shalom, shalom, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started and open up with prayer. Yahuwah, we want to thank you, Father. Total Rabbah for your blessings, Yahuwah. Total Rabbah for your barakot, Yahuwah, your shalom. Total Rabbah, Father. That you are through and wonderful, and awesome and powerful, Yahuwah. You are strength, Father. You are amazing, just and through, Yahuwah. You are righteous in every way, Father. Wonderful in every aspect, Adonai. You are powerful in all your deeds, Yahuwah. Baruch atah, Yahuwah. Baruch Hashem. Father, we bless your holy name, Yahuwah. We praise your Kodesh name, Adonai. We told God for another prep day, Yahuwah. Told Rabbah for another prep day, Yahuwah. Yahuwah, you are my strength, my king. You are my foundation, my rock. Father, we baruch your name, Yahuwah. We baruch your holy name, Adonai. We praise your Kodesh name, Father. Told Rabbah, Yahuwah. That you are through and that your mercy endure forever. Told Rabbah, Yahuwah. You are wonderful, holy, just, righteous, magnificent, Kodesh. You are everything, Father. You are sovereign, Father. You are in control, and we told all you, Adonai. Yahuwah, I pray according to your right rulings, according to your loving kindness, Yahuwah, that you baruch this discussion, Father. That you baruch this word, Yahusha. Father, I pray that everything that you want to come out of it may come out, Yahuwah. Bring to the forefront of our mind everything that you want to be stated, Yahuwah. That these be your words in our mind, Yahusha. Oh, Father, that these be your words, Adonai. For you are Melech Kabod, Melech Haolam, King of the universe. And we told our Rabbi, you, Father, for everything you've been revealing to us through this, Father, through this journey, through the book of Sefer of Hanuk, Yahuwah. Told our Rabbi for everything you showed us through this journey, Father. Give us eyes to see and ears to hear everything you want to reveal to us, Father. Baruch us to hear and do, Yahuwah. Baruch us to see and hear, Father. And the Shema, Adonai, the things that you have for us to do, the things that you want us to understand, Yahuwah. Oh, Yahuwah, baruch this discussion, Father. Baruch this lesson, Father. Be in the midst of this discussion, Adonai. That everything that you want to be stated, that everything that you want to come out, that it may come out, Father. We speak clarity and focus in the name of Yahusha. We speak against technical difficulties in the name of Yahusha. We baruch your name, Yahuwah, Toda Rabbah, Father. For you are amazing and wonderful and worthy and kodesh and magnificent, powerful, perfect. Oh, Toda Rabbah, Yahuwah. Toda Rabbah, Yahusha. Toda Rabbah, Yahuwah. Toda Rabbah, Father. For everything, Yahuwah. Toda Rabbah for the Mishpachah. Toda Rabbah for the leaders, Yahuwah. For the Melakim, Yahuwah. The Malka O, Father. All the leaders, Adonai. Toda Rabbah, Father. You're so wonderful, Father. Toda Rabbah, you're so amazing, Yahuwah. For waking us up, Al Mosai. Amen. May it be so. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I pray to the Most High. Ima Oriyah, shalom to you. Kun Rakan, oh, and Hudim. Shalom and Hudim. Kun Rakam, Yahoo, shalom Barakot. Predrag Kekman, shalom, shalom. Brittany Brown, shalom Barakot to you. Nair, shalom. Shalom, shalom, what's going on? Malachi Hilla Wild, shalom and blessings. Hey, you know, I had to do the jersey. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cohen and Anderson. Cody Salah, shalom to you. Shalom, shalom. All praise to the Most High. All right, y'all, we finna get started. Give me one moment.
It was never your fault, but you just wanna show your efforts, yeah. Cause you care, you wanna see your brother straight. It don't always work like that, no. Cause you care, you wanna see your brother straight. And it still send a shock just to know that my granny, she gone. And I won't get to see her when I visit back home. Every single moment I get my all. And if I get a chance to love, I gotta show it all. So I'ma stay mission-minded. Now voice, I'm declaring silence. When you alone feel like an island. I said when you alone feel like an island. Praise God, I'm not alone no more. But that dark state of mind used to be my home. And I still remember the lyrics that come from that song. Sad song over and over, this the sad song. Sad song over.
Man. Yeah, Hadar Sargon Zamar, man. He done did that one. That's it right there. That's it right there. All right, y'all. Shalom, shalom. Welcome to the Prep Day podcast. So we're gonna go ahead and get it in, y'all, and continue through the journey through the book of Enoch. This is actually the last one, y'all. We finishing the book. We done went through the whole book, y'all. Ain't that something? 108 chapters. Raphael, shalom to you. Aki, Zaria, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shout out to Zaria. She be coming with the Thule beard cream, man. Yeah, y'all holler at her, man. That beard cream, the shea butter stuff is off the chain. But yeah, Malaki, that's a nice little. That's it right there. So yeah, this is gonna be the last one, y'all. We're gonna finish the book. We're gonna do chapters 106 through 108. That's it. We done did 108 chapters. Ain't that something? Some of y'all, this was y'all first time ever going through the whole book. Most of y'all just maybe had read a chapter here and there, you know. But man, we done went through the whole book. Yeah, told out to Yahuwah and Yahusha. Told out to the Most High. Yeah, ain't that something, McCody? Selah? Yeah, time flies. Most High been blessing us, y'all. We done went through the Midrash. We done did the whole book, did all Tehillim. 150 chapters not that long ago. Now we about to wrap up the book of Enoch. So let's get it in. Let's get it in. Man, let me do my honors, man. Olam Hudim. Le Yahuwah U Le Yahusha HaMashiach. I am Mispar Hudim, Lamelech Musha, Ulamelech Yahusha, Kefel Hudim, Lamalka Kayel, Ulamalka Yada, Kefel Hudim, La Hagabira Malaka Deborah, La Gabira O, Kefel Hudim, La Roshaluf Yithro, La Rosha Ats Yeshayahu, Kefel Hudim, La Alufim, Kefel Hudim, La Gibarot. I can't remember if I said that before. Kefel Hudim, La Mushalim, La Mushala Oats. Want to give a special Kefel Hudim, La Ishti, Ahmed Yahu, Todah to Yahuwah and Yahusha for her. All praise to the Most High. And I want to give a Hudim to all of the rest of the leadership. The Hadarim, the Hadarot, Sarganim, Bakir Sarganim, the Sarar Ezerot, Bakir Ezerot, the Yasim, Yakum Yamin, Yakumah, all of the rest of leadership. All of the rest of leadership. I want to give a big shalom and hudim to all the Alufim and Ima Yoda in the West. Shalom and hudim to y'all as well. But yeah, let's get it in, y'all. Let's get it in. So we're going to start off with 106, chapter 106, and go from there. All right. 105.6. All right. 106. All right, it says, and after some days, my son Methuselah took a wife for his son Lamech, and she became pregnant by him and bore a son. And his body was white as snow and red as the blooming of a rose. So this is really interesting. We'll talk about this. And the hair of his head and his long locks. So it's giving it away right here. And his long locks were white as wool. And his eyes beautiful. And when he opened his eyes, he lighted up the whole house like the sun. And the whole house was very bright. And thereupon he arose in the hands of the midwife, opened his mouth, and conversed with Yahuwah of righteousness. And his father Lamech was afraid of him and fled, and came to his father Methuselah. And he said unto him, I have begotten a strange son, diverse from and unlike man, and resembling the sons of Alua, of the Shamayim, and his nature is different, and he is not like us, and his eyes are as the rays of the sun, and his countenance is glorious. And it seems to me that he is not sprung from me, but from the Malachim. And I fear that in his days a wonder may be wrought on the Eretz. And now, my father, I'm here to petition thee and implore thee that thou mayest go to Enoch, our father, and learn from him the truth, for his dwelling place is amongst the Malachim. And when Methuselah heard the words of his son, he came to me to the ends of the Eretz, for he had heard that I was there, and he cried aloud, and I heard his voice, and I came to him. And I said unto him, Behold, here am I, my son. Wherefore hast thou come to me? And he answered and said, Because of a great cause of anxiety have I come to thee, and because of a disturbing vision have I approached. And now, my father, hear me. Unto Lamech, my son, there hath been born a son, the like of whom there is none. And his nature is not like man's nature, and the color of his body is whiter than snow, and redder than the bloom of a rose. And the hair of his head is whiter than white wool, and his eyes are like the rays of the sun. And he opened his eyes, and thereupon lighted up the whole house. And he arose in the hands of the midwife, and he opened his mouth, and Baruch Yahuwah the Shamayim. And his father Lamech became afraid and fled to me, and did not believe that he was sprung from him, but that he was in the likeness of the Malachim of the Shamaim. And behold, I have come to thee, that thou mayest make known to me the truth. And I, Enoch, answered and said unto him, Yahuwah will do a new thing on the Eretz, and this I have already seen in a vision, and make known to thee that in the generation of my father Jared, some of the Malachim of the Shamaim transgress the word of Yahuwah, and behold, they commit sin and transgress the Torah, and have united themselves with women and commit sin with them, and have married some of them and have begot children by them. And they shall produce on the Eretz giants, not according to the Ruach, but according to the flesh. And there shall be a great punishment on the Eretz, and the Eretz shall be cleansed from all impurity. Yea, there shall come a great destruction over the whole Eretz, and there shall be a deluge and a great destruction for 1 year. And this son who has been born unto you shall be left on the Eretz, and his 3 children shall be saved with him. When all mankind that are on the Eretz shall die, he and his sons shall be saved. And now make known to thy son Lamech that he who has been born is in truth his son, that he who has been born is in truth his son. And call his name Noach, for he shall be left to you, and he and his sons shall be saved from the destruction, which shall come upon the Eretz on account of all the sin and all the unrighteousness, which shall be consummated on the Eretz in his days. And after that there shall be still more unrighteousness than that which was first consummated on the Eretz. For I know the mysteries of the Kodashim, for he, Yahuwah, has showed me and informed me, and I have read them in the heavenly tablets. All right, y'all, this is, man, we finna, look. Y'all, we finna talk about some stuff a little bit, not too crazy, but I want y'all to hear me out. This is deep. I shouldn't say deep. This is interesting. This is very interesting because so we talked about in times past that in the scriptures, symbolically being white. Man, I'm wearing white. I didn't even do that on purpose. Well, white and gray, but nevertheless, wearing white is symbolic of being pure, being kodesh. You know, like the elders with the white robes. And Dawid talked about being white as snow. And things like, purge me from iniquity, wash me and I'll be clean. I'll be white as snow. It's just this imagery of white being the symbolic of pure, righteous, etc., etc. But this time it is talking about, this was his physical appearance, y'all. So in times past, it was more symbolism. What we were reading this time, it is his physical. This is a physical appearance. Very, very clear. And this is something that's interesting about it, y'all. And it's controversy. People, say what they say. I'm just sharing my understanding right now. Is that, man? Look, Noach was albino. He was albino. He wasn't a white dude. But he was indeed albino. And so it's all throughout history. Many of y'all know that all throughout history, and there's a genetic thing where sometimes we'll have children, meaning Hebrews, will have children who didn't have the melanin in them. But they have all the features of a Hebrew except they don't have the melanin. You know what I'm saying? They call it what did I just say? They call it albino. That's what they call it. And you can then this shows you that white people wasn't really a thing back then because it scared Lamech. The only people that Lamech knew that had an appearance like that were the angels who came from the Shamaim, y'all, the Malachim. Really, really interesting, y'all. Really, really interesting. So you know what Lamech thought? I'm going to tell y'all what I think, what I believe Lamech thought. This is why he was fearful. He thought Noah, y'all, was of the seed of the fallen, y'all. Y'all understand this? Lamech was afraid because he felt like that was not his son. He felt like his wife then messed around and laid with one of those Malachim who fell, who were laying with all them women. So what is this showing you? This is showing you that the seed of the fallen were white. Y'all ever wonder how to where did quote unquote, like, white people come from? Y'all ever thought about that? If all of mankind came from Ham, Shem, and Japheth, then how come if we were the original people, everybody knows that you can go into science, you can look at all that. If black people were the original people, where did, like, white-skinned people come from? Like, because you got to think about it, man. Like, y'all know that like, white-skinned people have a hard time dealing with a lot of the elements, especially the sun and things like that. Because of that, they have to do things to even be able to really be out in the normal elements that we don't really have to deal with on the same level. What's the origins of white people? And I'll tell y'all, like, and this isn't, just like me talking. This isn't all the, if you look up and look in Smithsonian, you look in a lot of scientific sources, This is actually general science. This is taught in general science. This is taught in regular school. It's pretty common knowledge that white people are descendants of what they would call Neanderthals. That's what they're called in that's what they are called in modern science. They're called Neanderthals, okay? So it's this whole idea of cavemen. When you watch like the Flintstones, you got the whole story of the cavemen. Let me show y'all some stuff, man. This will make more sense, y'all. The teaching of like evolution and things like that. And they say that mankind originated as science. They'll say that mankind originated as like monkeys, and then we became like Neanderthals, and then we evolved into being modern day humans. So that actually is not our history at all. That's the history of white people. We were never Neanderthals. Y'all know that? Black people were never Neanderthals ever. That's the history of, generally speaking, of a lot of not a lot of white people actually came from Ham, Shem, and Japheth as well. So you got a lot of the Edomites are Caucasian, what you would call Caucasian. There's a lot of descendants of Japheth that are Caucasian as well, that are white as far as skin color, because they mixed with the fallen. They mixed with the nations a lot. But a portion of their history is that they were Neanderthals, cavemen, living in caves, more like a primitive type of people group. You know, I'll just put it that way. Living outside. It's spoken of a lot in many different sources. Benaiah talked about it pretty extensively in some of his teachings. The Chimera, they were even cannibalistic. They would run around, living outside, and they were very violent, very violent. Oh, it looks nice. Yeah, I love it. Okay, I'll be out shortly. But Noah, that was because what we were reading about was the birth of Noah. Okay. Noah's dad was afraid because he came out white, y'all. He was afraid because he felt like that's not his son. He's like, man, my wife done laid with the fallen. He thought Noah was the seed of the fallen, y'all. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. Let's look at it again real quick. After some days, my son Methuselah took a wife for his son Lamech. So you got Methuselah. That's that was Enoch's son. So Methuselah grew up, and then he finally took a wife. Methuselah took a wife. Found a wife for his son Lamech. Okay. And she became pregnant by him. She became pregnant by Lamech. So, and then they bore this son. This was about bringing forth Kodesh seed. And it says his body was white as snow, y'all, and red. That's how you know it was an albino. If y'all know any albinos, y'all know that albinos are very white and very red, like pinkish red. Because they have like zero melanin almost. They have a little bit, but, it's a very low amount. As the blooming of a rose, and the hair of his head and his long locks. That's how you know he was albino. He didn't have straight hair. He had locks, y'all. They were white as wool. And his eyes beautiful. And when he opened his eyes, he lighted up the whole house. Now look how his dad responded to this. Verse 4. And his father Lamech was afraid of him and fled, y'all. And came to his father Methuselah. He went back to his father on this one. Because his father's the one who chose the wife. He like, man, I begotten a strange son, diverse and unlike man, and resembling the sons of Alua, of the Shamayim. He's talking about the fallen ones, because that's what they were called. They were called the sons of Alua, of the Shamayim. That's what they were called. His nature is different. He's not like us. His eyes are as the rays of the sun, etc., etc. And then he says, and it seems to me that he is not sprung from me, but from the Malachim. Y'all, remember during this time, y'all, all those Malachim were laying with women and bringing forth all this new seed to dominate the earth. Y'all see what I'm saying? The Malachim, during this time, the fallen Malachim came and laid with the daughters of men and to produce this seed to dominate the earth. This is where white people came from. Isn't it true that what we will call, Europeans or Caucasians or white people, whatever you want to call them, as far as, the term, isn't it true that they did end up dominating the earth and dominating everything? That's exactly what happened. There's a dominion that they ended up having on the Eretz that has been like almost pretty much like no other to this day. some of y'all brought this up, I believe, last week, but or brought out the sources. I had brought this out last week, and some of y'all showed some of the sources. But y'all got to understand that, man. Like, there are whole civilizations that, man, listen, Europeans, who we will call Europeans, I'm going to say Europeans, just, it means, I'm saying that just for a more better term than just saying, like white-skinned people. I'll just say like people of European descent for right now. I know that's not the best technicalities because even the original Europeans were black. But y'all just roll with me. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But Europeans, people of European descent, they took over the world, y'all. There are certain areas where they went and they literally whited out the whole population on purpose. That's exactly what the fallen ones did in Genesis 6. They watered down the bloodline in certain areas on purpose, y'all. Look at how what happened in South America, certain parts of South America, where there were whole populations whited out on purpose. They said, we need to water down this bloodline. We need to corrupt this bloodline. And we're going to lay with all these women of this people group, of these Hebrews. We're going to lay with all the women and produce this seed from them. That's what happened. So now you got different parts of South America, whole countries, whole regions, where they originally descend from black people, but now they're they've been whited out. They've been whited out. Genetically, y'all, Chinese people, me and Isha was just talking about this yesterday. Genetically, y'all know that Chinese people are actually genetically originally descendants of Ham. They're originally African, y'all. They just Chinese, like in China, they're literally Africans that been whited out by the fallen ones. Y'all, listen, this stuff is real. This is just proving these scriptures is real. I need to show y'all some of this stuff, man, because I know this seems pretty. Let me see something, man. See if I can show y'all some of this stuff. See if there's an easy way to share this. We're not just talking, Miss Parker. Let's see here. All right. All right, I think this will work. Let's try it out.
However, there is something that could settle this debate of where the Chinese come from once and for all. After that,
oh yeah, y'all gotta see this, y'all. This is just a small, short video, but it's a whole lot of more evidence on this. But I'm just showing a short video, y'all.
However, there is something that could settle this debate of where the Chinese come from once and for all. After that, I'm meeting Professor Jin Li, one of China's leading geneticists. Recently, he led a project that set out to prove that the Chinese evolved independently from everyone else, from Homo erectus, here in China.
Before the project started, I was hoping that I could identify or could be able to find evidence that support independent origin of Chinese in China, because I'm a Chinese and came from China, and through the education process, I always believed that there's something special about Chinese.
He singled out a male genetic marker which only appeared about 80,000 years ago in Africa, So any man who carries that marker must have recent African ancestors and can't be descended from the more ancient Asian Homo erectus. Jin took DNA from over 160 ethnic groups around East Asia. Over 12,000 samples. And so, what did you find?
We did not see any, even one single individual that could be considered as the descendant of the Homo erectus in China. Rather, everybody was a descendant of our ancestors from Africa.
The result couldn't have been any clearer. And how did that make you feel as a Chinese person?
After I saw the evidences that we generate in my laboratory, I think we should all be happy with that, because after all, modern humans from different part of the world are not so different from each other, and we are very close relatives.
It's great, thank you.
So that was just one short video, just showing, man, they hating on me. Hopefully I'm still on. They wasn't happy that I played that video. All right, I ain't gonna be able to play no other video like that, but look like I'm still on. All right, but nevertheless, the point is, what he was saying. This was a Chinese guy. He's a geneticist, and he was looking at the origins of the Chinese people, and he has a lot of pride in his nation. Of course, that's his country, that's his people. And so he felt like Chinese people were special and different. And then when he did the DNA test and did his research, he was surprised to realize that he indeed they actually did DNA on different ethnic groups throughout China. They all came back to Africans, y'all, ancient Africans. Yeah, just a short video. There's a whole lot more to it than that, but. So then it's like, okay, so why? Swarthy and melanated. He wasn't happy about that, was he? He wasn't, because he, again, dang, they gave me another warning. I had been stopped playing the video though, man. All right, y'all. Hopefully they don't cut this off. I ain't gonna be able to play no more video, But nevertheless, yeah, he wasn't happy about that. You know what I'm saying? Because he felt like they was different. No, literally, listen, the Chinese people are Africans that were infiltrated by the fallen ones. The fallen ones, I submit, infiltrated a bloodline and created this whole seed. Created this whole people group. You know what I'm saying? This seed to have dominion, and that's what happened. China, had, and still does, has great dominion. Actually, China, other than America, y'all, is the biggest economy in the world. They have great dominion. China and America are the two biggest economies in the world, y'all. In the world. So you're talking world dominion. So no wonder they kind of clashing, China and America. That's why China is so into the dragon. Y'all ever notice how when you look at Chinese culture, they're so big into like the dragon is big into their belief systems and into their culture. The dragon. Who y'all think the dragon is? Do I need to pull it up in the scriptures? Who's the dragon, y'all? Y'all know. But we're going to pull it up just cause. Revelation 12, verse 1. Now a great sign appeared in the Shamaim, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a garland of 12 stars. Then being with child, she cried out in labor and in pain to give birth. And another sign appeared in the Shamaim. Behold, a great fiery red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 diadems on his head. What this is talking about is that this dragon basically is associated with different nations. Who do y'all think the 7 heads is? I submit it's the nations that had us in captivity. And 10 horns and 7 diadems on his head. Remember the 7 major captivities, y'all. The dragon is associated with the other nations, y'all. They worship the dragon, Mishpaka. They're in covenant with the dragon. That's why China, I submit, in its culture and their practices, generally speaking, I know there's always nuances and different, but generally speaking, they are very big on this concept surrounding the dragon. They are descendants of the fallen, y'all. And the same with, you know, white people. Now, does this mean that, you know, white people can't decide to renounce or denounce and serve Yahuwah? I don't mean that. You know, a lot of white people, a lot of Chinese, they actually, you know, they descend, a lot of them descend, you know, well, Chinese descent, they pretty much descend from the Hamitic groups in Africa, generally speaking. But there are a lot of European descent people who they descend from Hebrews. They descend from Esau. They descend from Japheth, children of Shem. I mean, the children of Noah. They was just, you know, whited out, you know, over the generations. Even the modern day, a lot of the modern day Jewry, modern day Jews, a lot of them descend from Esau, y'all. A lot of them are descendants of Esau. Those are Hebrew, you know, Esau is a Hebrew, you know what I'm saying? But Malek Yahusha brought this out some years ago. So there's this people group that were not listed in this. So you have the nations that come from Noah are mentioned in Genesis chapter 10 or 11. Bereshit chapter 10 or 11. There are certain people groups, though, that are mentioned in the scriptures that are never mentioned as any descendants of Ham, Shem, or Japheth, because they're of the fallen. There's these nations, these people groups that weren't a part of descendants of Ham, Shem, and Japheth. The descendants of Ham, Shem, and Japheth, there were nations established by Yahuwah from them 3. Those were supposed to be the 70 nations to rule the Eretz. The fallen came, and then they corrupted everything. They tried, you know, they developed and tried to develop their own seed and their own people to have dominion in a sense. And so that created these people groups that were not really set apart to be any of the nations that the Most High set apart from Ham, Shem, and Japheth, who were allotted and supposed to be set apart to, you know, basically rule the earth. And so that's why the earth was so corrupted that's why the earth is so corrupted today, y'all. Because literally you have the seed of the fallen who rule the earth. Just like it was before the flood during the days of Enoch. When everything was getting destroyed, sin was rampant on the earth. Abominations was at an all-time high. This is where we live, the days we're living in today. Why do you think Yahushua HaMashiach himself said that the last days would be just as in the days of Noah? Why do you think Yahushua said that? In the last days, it'll be like the days of Noah. Noah. And I want to be real clear, y'all. This ain't on no trying to be racist stuff. This is just regular science. Most people will tell you that. You can look it up. Encyclopedia Britannica, Smithsonian. White people came from Neanderthals. They are descendants of the Neanderthals. That's not trying to bash. That's none of that. That's not on no racist stuff. That's none of that. That ain't nothing like that. We just talking like real talk right now. We just talking fact. So I don't want nobody to try to take that and take it to some whole other level. Because look, man, there's gonna be other nations. There's gonna be white people who gonna be serving Yahuwah, y'all. That's already there. It's already happening. Who decide to renounce and denounce the ways of the nations, even the ways of their fathers, and serve Yahuwah and join Yahshua. That's gonna happen. Like, man, that's real. That's already happening. We know that. We see it in the assemblies. We know that. So this ain't about no bashing or nothing like that. We just talking facts right now. What's going on the earth and understanding what we dealing with. When you look at people like your Elon Musks and things like that, dudes be straight fallen ones, y'all. You expecting them to do right. You expecting them to care about you. Voting for them and all kind of stuff like that. Thinking they going to do something right by you. When they literally the seed of the fallen. Their whole goal is world domination, and their whole goal is to subdue you. Ain't nothing new under the sun. It's always been the goal of the fallen ones is to replace you. Why do you think generally speaking, white people, they don't really have, generally speaking, like their own pure culture. Generally speaking, what they do is they usually go into a land, historically, they go into a place, they colonize it, they genocide the black people groups and white out the rest of the people. They'll keep the women, white out that population, and absorb their culture, Mishpaka. Most of the cultures that you see around the world that they say is theirs, they took, y'all, from the indigenous people in those lands, y'all, and claimed it to themselves. It wasn't just Israelites who got their identity stolen. They did that to all the indigenous people groups, y'all. Well, I say not all, like 100%, but they did that to a large amount of them. Let's say it like that. The original Ishmaelites were black people, y'all. The original Ishmaelites are what they would call like Islamic Muslims, whatever. They were black folks, y'all. And now what? Now you have white Arabs that say, hey, no, we're the original Ishmaelites. The original Israelites were who? Black people. But now you have a whole group of, people of European descent saying, no, we're the original Jew, Yahudim, Israelites. Y'all get the pattern? It's just like Hasatan. Hasatan does not come up with anything by himself. Hasatan never came up with nothing by himself. He always stole from the things of the Most High and perverted it. He don't make up stuff on his own. He steals and takes things and then just manipulates and perverts it. This is the pattern of the people group we talking about. This is the pattern of those of European descent, historically, of what they done. Even in America, most of the inventions, the major inventions in America, they were invented by us, the slaves who were there, the Hebraic Hebrews. We created many of the inventions that y'all attribute to a white inventor who patented the invention was originally created and discovered and invented by a Hebrew that just didn't get the credit for it, y'all. That's just how it go. A white person would take it and get it patented and say it was his invention. He might have been the slave owner of that. Y'all heard about even Jack Daniels is a small, real small, super small example, but I'm just throwing that out there because that was a more recent one that went public. But Jack Daniels, you know, is a generational wealthy company of liquor. There, you know, it's I can't remember what kind of liquor. I think it's I can't remember. I think it's whiskey, something like that. But everybody know about Jack Daniels. It's a household name for anybody that ever had an uncle or anybody who drank. It's household name, Jack Daniels. Everybody, I'm talking generational wealth came from this company, and it was a slave who came up with that recipe, who created Jack Daniels. The slave owner took the credit for it, you know, patented it and put it out. And, you know, what happened was some generations down the road, one of the descendants of the slave owner who knew the story, he actually, out of the integrity of his heart, decided to put it out, to bring it out in the public, and give some sort of reparations to the descendants of that slave. Very interesting story. Look it up whenever you get a chance. Very interesting story. That's just a very super small example. But there's many much greater examples of things that we created that we never was given any kind of credit for, anything like that. A lot of all the music genres. You go from, all the music genres in that we look at as American culture. We created that. We created that, y'all. I know, even rock. If y'all look deep enough, you'll see we were even at the foundation of music like that. We would attribute to white people like rock, you know, and different things like that. You know what I'm saying? It was so bad, y'all, that man, if you go back to like during the, you know, Chitlin Circuit days, you know, back in the, you know, 50s, 60s, maybe a little bit before that. I don't remember the exact time frame, but it's back in the day. It was before my time. Maybe some of the maybe we might have some elders or someone who might remember some of those days a little bit. They was young. I know y'all have been young back then, but you had a lot of the black artists, in order for them to be able to even come out, record labels will literally put white faces on the record, on the CD or record, on the cover, just so the album would get sold. They would have black musicians do all the music while a white person is the one who takes all the credit for the music. I talked about this years ago, but Elvis, man, a lot of his music came from black people. He didn't originate his music. Very famous, you know, artist, Elvis. Y'all know Elvis Presley. I learned about him growing up. Maybe some of y'all, maybe you know, you don't really hear his name too much. But one of the most famous white musicians ever. Y'all look it up, man. He got his stuff from black people. Never gave him credit. The list goes on and on and on. And so I just say that to say, y'all, we gotta just know what we dealing with. We gotta know what's going on and understand why things are the way it is. You know, why things are the way it is. Why is it that it seems like across the world, not just in America, that black people are just downtrodden, oppressed, low, as far as on the totem pole, economically, socioeconomically, and so on and so forth. Why, generally speaking, the other nations, especially of European descent, are just on top, dominating everything. You know, how were Europeans able to come up with stuff like atom bombs so they can just have domination over everything? Guns, the first ones to come with machine guns, atom bombs, airplanes, all these things that caused them to just have a level of dominion like no other. It's because they're the seed of the fallen, y'all. That's fallen angel technology. Airplanes, bombs, guns. Remember in Enoch, Earlier in the book, that's what the fallen ones taught them, how to make war. The fallen ones taught their seed, not all the people. They taught their people, their seed that they had brought forth out of those women, their people, how to make war. All this technology they had gave to them, all these secrets from the Shamaim, they gave to them. And this is how they were able to like have this like dominion like no other. I mean, they would be just, listen, y'all, we don't really know the full story, the magnitude of this. Y'all, white people will go in different parts of Africa, massacre everybody, men, women, and children, y'all. I mean, genocide the whole area and say, this is my land now. Every part of the world, there's no part of the world where this hasn't happened at, generally speaking. You all the way down to Australia. They found Australia that was full of indigenous people, full of the Aborigines and so on and so forth. They went over there. I mean, totally subdued everybody there and took over that whole area. Australia is, is taken over and controlled by European, by those of European descent. And they couldn't do nothing about it because they came in there with guns. The white people came in there with technology that the Aborigines, they couldn't do nothing about. They couldn't do nothing about that with arrows and stuff like that. And so now Australia, for I don't know how long, has been fully dominated by those of European descent. The descendants of the Neanderthals. Let's take a look at some stuff here. All right, hold on. Let me see this real quick. All right, hold on. Let me try to find this real quick. I'm going to have to follow up. looks like man, some of the stuff might be starting to wipe off. Let's see if I can figure this out, y'all. Yeah, well, I'm not gonna play the video just because they had already warned me when I had played the last one. But just so y'all know, and y'all can look it up on y'all own. But so when you look at most studies, it's gonna show you that people of African descent have the least amount of Neanderthal ancestry in them. Pretty much all what they'll tell you is that all mankind has some sort of at least less than 1% of Neanderthal in them. Y'all know that we, you know, a lot of us have been mixed and things like that as well. However, the difference is that, but white people, your people from of European descent, they say that Asians have the Asians have the highest percentage of Neanderthal DNA in them today. Basically, Asians have the highest percent of Neanderthal DNA in them. Black people have the least percentage out of any other people group in the world. People of African descent. You know what I'm saying? So I'll just say it like that as a summary. But what's that showing you is that it's because, you know, basically the people who you know, who are white have more Neanderthal DNA in them than those who are black, generally speaking. That's the best way to put it there. And so, nevertheless, it's just wild. It lines up. I'm just showing DNA that lines up with kind of what we were reading in Enoch, on how they were, man, they saw Noah, his dad, and was like, man, he's of the fallen. You know what I'm saying? So, you know. Yeah, nevertheless, let me see what y'all got here before we move on. All right, Cody Sailor, Isaiah 43:19. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the deserts. Hallelujah. Y'all bringing it out. Shamar. Hey, Shalom Aki. He said that sun be bright. Oh, man, that's hilarious. Shahonda Johnson, shalom to you. Natanya Smith, shalom, shalom. Ima Yashayahu, Hudim to you. Bakir Sargon Manu, Hudim to you. Hudim to Bakir Ezra, Hadassah. He said, Khan, Homo sapiens are what they classify us as. Yeah, that's very interesting. Raphael said, it's funny how the Mormons believe the Malachim was white and they became black once they rebelled. Oh, wow. That's very interesting. I didn't realize that. I heard something like that. But, yeah, that's very interesting, though, for real. That's interesting. Because I have heard that they have some racist ideologies or something like that, but I didn't know the details. Bakir Sargon said, typically white people are classified as Neanderthals. Pretty interesting study. Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah. Shamar said he went back and said, this woman you gave me, yeah. Talking about Lamech, Noah's dad, man. Look, Methuselah. Hold on now. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Ahavatar Eli Sheba said that nose tells the story. Okay, yeah, y'all said y'all was still here, and I told our Suave and Melanated said the Chinese dude did not look happy saying that. Yeah. Yeah, he was astonished, y'all. He was astonished. And y'all can see it, So you have a people group called the Khoisan people. That one of they say they're one of the oldest groups in still in Africa. That's what they say. One of the oldest tribes in Africa. Um, but nevertheless, I'll show y'all a picture real quick. They're basically a Hamitic people group. It's where this is where your Asians came from, right here. They're called the San people. They're called Khoisan. It'll be you also have some others that are similar, but yeah, these are very, very ancient tribal people, y'all. Hamitic people group, and they are based out of, I believe, like I think it's like southern parts of Africa, southern parts of the continent. This is where you get your Asians from, y'all. This is their original descendants. When you look at the Egyptians, you know, the Egyptians, they were into martial arts. They were into different things like that. Egyptians were Hamitic people. You know, man, look. A lot of those Asians, especially in China, man, those were their descendants. That's why they were into that stuff. Your original samurais and stuff, man, they were melanated people. It's just very interesting. Let's keep going. We'll leave it at that for now. All right. So it says, and when Methuselah heard the words of his son, he came to me to the ends of the Eretz. I thought that was interesting because the ends of the Eretz is like, I submit it's talking about like here, like in the West. For he had heard that I was there. And he cried aloud, and I heard his voice, and I came to him and said unto him, behold, here I am, my son. Wherefore hast thou come to me? And then that's when he goes into, he answered and said, because of a great cause of anxiety have I come to thee, and because of a disturbing vision I have approached. My father, hear me until I make my son. There have been born a son, the like of whom there is none. And his nature is not like man's nature. And the color of his body is whiter than snow, and redder than the bloom of a rose. Hair of his head whiter than wool. His eyes are like the rays of the sun. He opened his eyes, and thereupon lighted up the house. And this is what Enoch said unto him, Yahuwah will do a new thing on the Eretz, and this I have already seen in a vision, and make known to thee in the generation of my father Jared. Some of the Malachim of the Shamaim transgressed the word of Yahuwah, and behold, they commit sin and transgress the Torah, and united themselves with women, and commit sin with them, and have married some of them, and have begot children by them. And so it says, and they shall produce on the earth giants, not according to the Ruach, but according to the flesh. And so this is showing you kind of what led to the flood and all those things like that. And so this stuff is really interesting to me because it almost is like Noah was born to look like the fallen ones as a sign. It's like Noah was born to actually be the one to come against the fallen ones. Noah was born, and it was like he was a sign. He came out actually looking like the fallen ones, resembling them at least. Because he was coming against he was born to come against the fallen ones, y'all. And the way he was going to come against the fallen ones, listen, this is crazy. It wasn't by trying to fight them. It wasn't by trying to get sword and spear or weapons that let's go to war against them. It wasn't none of that. Noah was set apart to come against and subdue the fallen ones by bringing forth Kodesh seed, Mishpaka. By bringing forth sons, y'all. Bringing forth Kodesh seed, y'all. And he came out looking like the fallen ones as a sign that he was literally being brought forth on the arrest to replace them. To replace them. Yahuwah was going to destroy all the seed of the fallen in the flood and start all over with Noah, y'all. This stuff is wild, y'all. And here go the proof. Look at this. This is Bereshit 9 verse 1. It says, so Elohim blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, look what he said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. Look what he said. Look what Yahuwah said. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be on every beast of the earth, on every bird of the air, on all that move on the earths, and all the fish of the sea. They are given into your hands. What does that mean? That means Noah. Remember, the beasts of the field, the beasts of the earth represent the other nations, y'all. We know that by now. Most of us know that. This was right after the flood finished. Yahuwah said, Noah, I'm giving you dominion over all the nations. I'm giving you dominion over everything, you and your seed. And it's going to happen through you being fruitful and multiplying. In other words, it's through your seed, through you having children, bearing fruit. It ain't through war and all that stuff. It's through bearing Kodesh seed that the dominion will come. All right. Y'all got it. Y'all understand. All right. Let's see something. Man. All right, let's go to the next chapter. All right, 107, chapter 107. Verse 1, and I saw written on them that generation upon generation shall transgress, till a generation of righteousness arises, and transgression is destroyed, and sin passes away from the eretz, and all manner of thub comes upon it. And now, my son, go and make known to thy son Lamech, that this son which has been born is in truth his son, and that this is no lie. And when Methuselah had heard the words of his father Enoch, for he had shown to him everything in secret, he returned and showed them to him, and called the name of that son Noah, for he will comfort the earth after all the destruction. Man. Another book which Enoch wrote for his son Methuselah, and for those who will come after him and keep the Torah in the last days. So this is for y'all. Ye who have done thub shall wait for those days till an end is made of those who work evil, and an end of the might of the transgressors. And wait ye indeed till sin has passed away, for their names shall be blotted out of the book of life and out of the Kodesh book. Let me read this again. Ye who have done Thub shall wait for those days, till an end is made of those who work evil, and an end of the might of the transgressors. And wait ye indeed till sin has passed away. For their names shall be blotted out of the book of life and out of the Kodesh books, and their seed shall be destroyed forever, and their spirits shall be slain, and they shall cry and make lamentation in a place that is a chaotic wilderness. And in the fire shall they burn, for there is no earth there. And I saw there something like an invisible cloud, for by reason of its depth I could not look over. And I saw a flame of fire blazing brightly, and things like shining mountains circling and sweeping to and fro. And I asked one of the Kodesh Malachim who was with me, and said unto him, what is this shining thing? For it is not a Shamayim, but only the flame of a blazing fire, and the voice of weeping and crying and lamentation and strong pain. And he said unto me, this place which thou seest, here are cast the spirits of sinners and blasphemers, and of those who work wickedness, and of those who pervert everything that Yahuwah has spoken through the mouth of the prophets, even the things that shall be. For some of them are written and inscribed above in the Shamayim, in order that the Malachim may read them and know that which shall befall the sinners. And the Ruach coat of the humble, the spirits of the humble, and of those who have afflicted their bodies and been recompensed by Alua, and of those who have been put to shame by wicked men, who love Alua, and loved neither gold nor silver, nor any of the Thub things which are in the world, but gave over their bodies to torture, who, since they came into being, longed not after earthly food, but regarded everything as a passing breath, and lived accordingly. And Yahuwah tried them much, and their Ruach, their spirits, were found pure, so that they should Baruch his name. And all the Barakot, the blessings destined for them, I have recounted in the books. And he hath assigned them their recompense, because they have been found to be such as loved. Because they have been found to be such as loved the Shamayim more than their life in the world. And though they were trodden under foot of the wicked men, and experienced abuse and reviling from them, and were put to shame, yet they Baruch me, they blessed me. And now I will summon the spirits of the Thub, who belong to the generation of light. Oh man, it's the sons of light. The generation of light. Because you know that when you talk about generations, that's another way of saying children. The children of light are the sons of light. And now I will summon the spirits of the Thub who belong to the generation of light, and I will transform those who were born in darkness, who in the flesh were not recompensed with such honor as their faithfulness deserved. I will transform those who were born in darkness, who in the flesh were not recompensed with such honor as their faithfulness deserved. And I will bring forth in shining light those who have loved my Kodesh name, and I will seat each on the throne of his honor, and they shall be resplendent. For man, y'all anybody know what that means? Let me look it up. We're going to try to understand all this that's being said here. Resplendent. All right. It means attractive and impressive through being richly colorful or sumptuous. That was just a quick Google search on what it means. It's from the New Oxford American Dictionary. Resplendent means attractive and impressive through being richly colorful or sumptuous. Okay, that makes sense to me. That makes a whole lot of sense. So I'm going to read it again. And they shall be resplendent for times without number. For righteousness is the judgment of Alua. For to the faithful he will give faithfulness in the habitation of upright paths. And they shall see those who were born, and they shall see those who were born in darkness, led into darkness, while the righteous shall be resplendent, and the sinners shall cry aloud and see them resplendent. And they indeed will go where days and seasons are prescribed for them. All right, that was it. That's the end of the book, y'all. That is the end of Enoch. The end of Enoch. The end of Enoch. So y'all let me know what were y'all thoughts on surrounding these last chapters. Bring it on out. And let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any questions. Any questions? Oh, my Isha is hilarious. That is so funny. All right, let me see what y'all got here. All right. Liz R, shalom and barakot to you. Shalom and barakot to you. Ari Moshe Israel, shalom and blessings. Brittany Brown said, Mushal, I always wonder why did Moshe hand turn white to show Yahuwah power to Pharaoh? So this is the thing about, that's a through question. So I'm going to ask this question again. I think it's a through question. He said, Brittany Brown said, I always wonder, why did Moshe's hand turn white to show Yahuwah's power to Pharaoh? Let's just look at it real quick. That's in Shemot, the book of Exodus. And so it's a couple of verses that go through this, but we'll just look at one of them. Let's see. Because it was about leprosy, really. It's chapter 4. All right. Let's look at this. All right. Then Moshe answered and said, but suppose they will not believe me or listen to my voice. Suppose they say, Yahuwah has not appeared to you. So Yahuwah said to him, what is that in your hand? He said, a rod. He said, cast it on the ground. He cast it on the ground. It became a serpent. Moshe fled from it. Then Yahuwah said to Moshe, reach out your hand and take it by the tail. And he reached out his hand and caught it. Became a rod in his hand. And that they may believe that Yahuwah, Elu of their fathers, the Elu of Abraham, Elu of Yitzhak, Elu of Yaakov, has appeared to you. Verse 6. Furthermore, Yahuwah said to him, now put your hand in your bosom. There it goes. Put your hand in your bosom. He put his hand in his bosom. And when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous like snow. Okay. So, keep reading. And he said, put your hand in your bosom again. So he put his hand in his bosom again and drew it out of his bosom. And behold, it was restored like his other flesh. Okay. All right. So that was surrounding around leprosy. Okay. But it's interesting because, biblically speaking, when a man was leprous, his skin turned white as snow. Many times it would say. And leprosy was symbolic of sin and death. You see what I'm saying? Leprosy in the scriptures, we just talked about this a couple of Torah portions ago, is symbolic of sin and death. We know that because the sacrifices that needed to happen in the process of someone being restored from leprosy was similar of the process needed to be restored from if you had came in contact with a dead person. Also, in the book of Numbers, chapter 12, I believe. When Yahuwah gave leprosy to Miriam, look what they said here. Says in verse 1, Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moshe because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. So they said, has Yahuwah indeed spoken only through Moshe? Has he not spoken through us also? And Yahuwah heard it. Now the man Moshe was humble more than all the men who were on the face of the eretz. Suddenly Yahuwah said to Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam, come out, you three, the tabernacle of meeting. So the three came out. Then Yahuwah came down to the pillar of cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aharon and Miriam, and they both went forward. And he said, hear now my words. If there's a prophet, I make myself known to him in a vision. I speak to him in a dream. Not so with my servant Moshe. He is faithful in all my house. I speak with him face to face, even plainly, and not in dark sayings. And he sees the form of Yahuwah. Why then were you not afraid to do what? To speak against my servant Moshe. And I talked about this before, but leprosy surrounds around speaking against Yahuwah and speaking against his people. That's what leprosy is associated and it surrounds around. It's about sin, rebellion, speaking against Yahuwah's people. So this was the judgment that happened to Miriam for speaking against Moshe. The anger of Yahuwah was aroused against him, and he departed. And when the cloud departed from above the tabernacle, suddenly Miriam became leprous. And look what it says, as white as snow. Yahuwah turned Miriam white, y'all. Yeah. And look at their response, y'all. Aharon turned toward Miriam, and there she was, a leper. Aharon said to Moshe, oh, my master, please do not lay this sin on us, in which we have done foolishly, and in which we have sinned. Please do not let her be as one, what? Dead. There you go. So this is showing you right here that this is just another witness that leprosy is associated with death as well. Please do not let her be as one dead whose flesh is half consumed when he comes out of his mother's womb. Please, so Moshe cried out to Yahuwah and said, please heal her. And so, so nevertheless, with that being said, when Moshe put his hand in the bosom, came out, it was as leprous as snow, put his hands back in there and came back and it was restored. The healing of leprosy was looked at as like a resurrection. It was about like a resurrection from the dead. You see what I'm saying? It was like somebody that was dead and then came back to life. Leprosy was something that was looked at as something that could never be healed. It was an incurable disease. And so, and the idea was that Hebraically, anyone who could heal leprosy, that was either Yahuwah, or that meant, the Redeemer's here. That was that meant redemption is here. You see what I'm saying? So the sign for Moshe to show that sign to the Israelites who were in captivity in Mitzrayim, or Egypt in English, he turned leprous and now he's back to normal, man. Oh, snap. Redemption's here. The people understood that back then. That means redemption is really here. Like Yahuwah's really with us. Did you see that? That's the miracle of all miracles. We just saw a dude get leprosy and then got healed. But look at this. Let's look now going on what your kind of more on what your question is. I know you didn't ask it like this, but this is how I'm taking what you're asking just in another way. Could this be related to the fallen ones? I say yes. Yes. Why is leprosy symbolic of sin and death and stuff like that all throughout Torah? Because in the Torah and scriptures, leprosy is when you turn white. It turns you white. That's why some people even think that like vitiligo and stuff, maybe, leprosy and things like that. And I did kind of, at one point in time, look at that as a possibility. I did, but, I don't know. But I'm just saying that is a common understanding with some people. But nevertheless, because modern day leprosy is like your skin is literally just deteriorating and just being consumed, and so that's probably the case. It's probably a mixture of both. Your skin deteriorating and your skin turning white. But why is that symbolic of sin and death? Why is that such a big deal in the scriptures? Probably because that the fallen Malachim, y'all, the fallen ones who came down and brought sin on the earth, brought corruption, who destroyed the Eretz and corrupted the whole land and corrupted the bloodlines of them, tried to take out this seed of the Most High. That's how they looked. They were white skinned, like one who was leprous. You see what I'm saying? That's definitely, I can definitely see that being correlated with each other. Yahusha, that was the big thing about Yahushua HaMashiach, is that when he came on the Eretz, he was able to do what? He was able to come and he healed the lepers. That was a big deal. He came and he was healing those who had leprosy. That was a sign that the Redeemer was here. That's why people saw that sign. They knew what time it was. They're like, oh, snap, man, he's really HaMashiach. He's coming and healing the lepers. That's something that can't be healed. That's something that was always considered, impossible. You know what I'm saying? There's only a few people in the scriptures who was mentioned of being able to heal leprosy. And I believe it was, it was like a couple of the prophets. I mean, I think maybe Elisha or Elijah, one of them, maybe both of them, Yahushua HaMashiach, and so on and so forth. There's only a few people, only a few times you ever saw it in the scriptures. And so that's basically my thoughts on that, though. Hopefully that answered your question. All right. Ama Ayan Amyuna Yahu, shalom and blessings to you. Shalom and blessings. She said, and Hudim as well. Hudim. She said, quite a few Hebrew women and wives invented many things, but their husbands took the credit due to the women didn't have rights in the early 1800s, 1900s. Sir Mushar Asa. Okay. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. But the thing about it is that especially if you're talking about the 1800s, the Hebrews wasn't getting credit for none of the inventions. They weren't getting credit for none of that. But I believe I get your point, though, that it was a lot of the women as well who made a lot of those inventions, and most definitely, I can definitely see that, absolutely. But yes, 1800s and 1900s, Hebrew men and women didn't really have rights like that, But I get what you're saying, because women even more so, because even back then, the women even of the other nations were limited in a lot of their rights. So yeah, I get what you mean. Let's see. Natanya Smith said, "Dumb, Diversa and Doctrine of Discovery of 1493." Yeah. When like Husha was bringing that out. Yeah, with Manifest Destiny, Khan. When you're thinking about Catholicism, how they went up, and they would be like, "Hear ye," and then they'll just ramsack a country. They would sail around the world. They'll be, you're thinking about people like Christopher Columbus that go out and literally sail around the world looking for places to colonize. That's what they was doing. We celebrate them as heroes. I was taught in school that they were heroes and great people, but they were literally sailing around the world looking for places to conquer and to colonize. That's what they was doing. It was about world domination. That's really what it was all about. When you hear all this stuff about one world government and all that, it was all about world domination. That's really what it boiled down to. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's see here. All right. Swarthy and Melanated said Ethiopia was one place that was not conquered by them. Also, I looked into that place recently, and the Nile River starts there and ends in modern Egypt. So they possibly could be the real Egyptians. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, one thing I know is that the Ethiopians were never colonized. That's one thing I know. That's one thing. If you ever meet an Ethiopian, they gonna make sure you know that. If anything, they gonna make sure that you know that. But yeah, it's true. Malaki Al-Hilal said many declarations like that. Still trying it even in this very hour. Oh, snap. Asian, Caucasian. Oh, snap. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense for real. You was shouting, who should follow shalom to you? He said, I'm putting my phone down. Amar Ayan Aminayahu said, Papua New Guinea people have a lot of Neanderthal in them also. That's true. Point. That's true. She said, I've been to China, and a lot of them favor us Hebrews, just different color skin. Khan. Yeah, that's real. That's real. Swarthy and Melanated said, I moved last to Kenya, and there are people who look like that girl. Literally today, seen a black man who looked Asian like a Chinese. Wow, that's really interesting. You know what else is interesting? A lot of the Chinese are trying to go back to Africa. That's very interesting to me. But it's like the Chinese, it's like China, they're really trying to going back and trying to establish things in Africa like a mug. Like they going back and trying to really establish things out there, generally speaking. So it's very interesting. That's very interesting, y'all. Let's see. Okay. Swarthy and Melanated said the language of Swahili has the same vowels and pronunciations as the Japanese. They also eat rice, beans, and fish like Asians also. That's very interesting, for real. I didn't know that. Very interesting. Malaki Al-Hilal said, man, sometimes I just marvel at Yahuwah and Yahusha's declarations. Hallelujah. Yeah. Praise Yahuwah. Praise Yahuwah. Swarthy and Melanated, he's quoting Revelation 2:7. It says, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Ruach saith unto the assemblies. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the tree of life, which is in the midst of the paradise of Yahuwah. So the promises of Revelation chapter 2 and 3 shows that last chapter Enoch. Yeah, Khan, that's it. That's real. Let's see. Esmakorgo, shalom to you. Mr. L.W. Ringo, shalom. Ahavatar Elisheva, shalom and blessings. She said, could melanin be a sign of speaking against the Most High? Oh, melanin. Oh, the lack of melanin. I get what you're saying. Be a sign of speaking against the Most High and His people forever. I wouldn't say that just because I know, again, there are going to be people from all kind of nations that are going to submit to Yahuwah and serve Him. And so I would say, generally speaking, no. But that's the origin of that, though. It's from the fallen ones. Chepsi Ba Shalom. Imyana Shalom Shalom. All praise to the Most High. Yeah, Yahuwah shouting, Yahusha's followers, yeah, trying to invade the bloodline. That's it. Yeah, you're referring to those moving to Africa pretty big right now. Yeah. Yep. So, but yeah, it's a lot there. Man, this is a powerful book, y'all. This is a powerful journey. We're going to get into some other stuff next week. Most High willing, we're going to get into some different things. But just looking at this last chapter again, man. It says, ye who have done thub shall wait for those days, till an end is made of those who work evil, and an end of the might of the transgressors. So it's till the iniquity is full. This is the same thing the scriptures teach. Till the iniquity of the heathen is full, then it'll be time for this stuff to pass away. It says, and wait ye indeed till sin has passed away. For their name shall be blotted out of the book of life and out of the Kodesh books. And their seed shall be destroyed forever. And their Ruach coat shall be slain, and they shall cry and make lamentation in a place that is a chaotic wilderness. Man. Yeah. There's one thing that stood out to me, and I'll say this and then we'll wrap it up. We'll close. So this goes into the judgment of those who can't win against Yahuwah. But look at this. And the spirits of the humble and of those who have afflicted their bodies. This is what's deep. This is what's deep. And been recompensed by Allah. And of those who have been put to shame by wicked men. Who is that? Who are those who have been put to shame by wicked men? It's Israel, y'all. Us. We're the ones that's been afflicted and been in captivity and been downtrodden and been put to shame by the wicked, by the fallen ones, y'all, and been subdued and trodden over underfoot by the nations. Yeah. Who love Allah and love neither gold nor silver nor any of the through things which are in the world, but gave over their bodies to torture, since they came into being, long not after earthly food, but regarded everything as a passing breath and lived accordingly. And Yahuwah tried them much. Y'all, that's Yasharal, y'all. We the people who we think about all the captivities, all the trials, all the affliction. The list goes on and on and on. That's why the remnant of Yasharal, y'all, is going to be through. Those who can endure to the end and serve Yahuwah and not be focused on the things of this world, but focus on Yahuwah over the things of this world and pass all the trials and all the tests and bless Yahuwah's name regardless. It says, and their spirits were found pure so that they should bless his name. All the blessings destined for them I have recounted in the books. This is really something else to me because man, this reminds me of something I was just talking about earlier. Of how those who can endure to the end, those who can pass the trials and the tests, are gonna receive major blessings, y'all. Major blessings. Let's see. And though they were trodden underfoot of wicked men and experienced abuse and reviling from them and were put to shame, yet they blessed me. Y'all, listen, this is it, y'all. All right, moderators, I want y'all to watch that I Ain't Ray show. I don't know, just watch I Ain't Ray show, moderators. But yeah, y'all, this is like, man, that's us. The people who were trodden underfoot of wicked men, experienced abuse and reviling from them and were put to shame. But if you are still blessing Yahuwah, if you are still like serving the Most High, staying close to him, holding close to him, keeping his word, keeping his laws, staying in righteousness, y'all. There are through rewards coming. And Yahuwah, he's going to summon. This is already happening now. He said, I will summon the spirits of the Thub who belong to the generation of light, or the sons of light. So there's these people he's going to summon who are of this certain generation. And he said, I will transform those who were born in darkness. That's people who were born in captivity, y'all. I will transform those who were born in darkness, who in the flesh were not recompensed with such honor as their faithfulness deserved. You know, those who were born in captivity, who love Yahuwah and served him, he's going to baruch them, y'all. Think about the ancestors that our ancestors that was like in chattel slavery, y'all, who never had the opportunity to just serve the Most High, just to praise him, was just in chattel slavery their whole life. These are our ancestors, but they were able to hold on to bring us onto the arrest. But their whole life was just affliction. Their whole life. These are our ancestors, our great-great-grandparents, and great-great-great-grandparents, and so on and so forth. Yahuwah is recompensing our people, y'all. He says, I will bring forth and shine in light those who have loved my holy name. I will seat each on the throne of his honor. They shall be resplendent for time. Meaning they're going to be, shining, y'all. Remember we looked up that word. They're going to be shining. There's going to be a lot of kavod on them. For righteousness is the judgment of Eluah. For to the faithful he will give faithfulness in the habitation of upright paths. They shall see those who were born in darkness led into darkness, while the righteous shall be resplendent, y'all. The sinners shall cry aloud and see the resplendent. See them resplendent. The sinners will cry out, y'all, when they see the kavod that's going to come upon the ones who endure to the end. Man. Told out to Yahuwah and Yahusha, y'all. Told out to the Most High. Told out to the Most High. All right, let's see here. Swarthy and melanated quote of Enoch 1 verse 7. It says, but to them shall he give shalom. He shall guard the elect, and towards them exercise clemency. Yahuwah declared the end from the beginning. Man, that's it. Ahavatar Elisheba said, Paul says he beats his body into submission as well as being beaten by others. Wow, that's so real. Nakama Yahu said shalom. And shalom, Nakama Yahu, shalom to you. Talmida said, Toda, thank you for teaching much revelation. Shalom to you. Shalom to you as well. Praise Yahuwah. Swarthy and melanated quote in Revelations 2:26, and he that overcome and guards my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. Man, that's it right there. That's it. All right, y'all. But all right, we're going to go ahead and end it, y'all. I wanted to just go through it some more a little bit, since this is the end of the book. And, you know, there wasn't a whole lot of chapters we had to cover today. It was pretty short read today. So, y'all listen here. We'll see what Yahuwah wants us to get into most high willing next week. Y'all, we're in the time of the counting of the Omer, Mishpaka. So, yeah, y'all count that Omer. I'll count down the Shavuot. But I love y'all. Much Ahavah. And Lakam La Shalom. Lakam La Shalom, Mishpaka. All praise to the Most High. Let me go ahead and we're going to have to do let's see. We're going to have to bring that one. We're going to have to bring that back, man. That's the jam. Bring that back.
I seen a man that looked like me. He looked at me and he said, man, what it feel like, you know? What it feel like to be in a place things on a different level. Yeah, yeah. Hey, look. What it feel like to be on this pursuit for you to get a crown. My genetic code been tapped by the heaven, bloodline no longer bound. My son, he won't be bound by no anger because his daddy down. On mama silent, won't give a word when she got healing sound. His mother speaking, helping my weakness so he can be profound. This domino, cause and effect, show me what I lost, I found. It's back to it. My elders in 70s, they put crack to it because the home was broken. The king got there, so the sack ruling. Yeah. 2000, now the trap ruling. The same different stories, killers for leader, don't got no morals, but it's stats ruling. Dang, they hate it when the rats ruling. I hate it when the rats possum snakes, wicked past ruling. Dang, dang, dang. Sell outs for role models. She put on for the gram to get an image. That's when she act, cause she's a role model. Yeah, lights, camera, action. This world ain't got no truth in it. I'll be out, this world ain't got no truth in it. Yeah, yeah. Ain't it beautiful how time flies? Unity with my brother was beautiful until it end up on the downside. Ain't no rivalry with me. All I ever want was peace. We disagreed to say the least, but I still hope to see you free. All these heavy burdens that we hold, at some point we gotta see to let it go. Do what I should've did better, but I could've did better. It was never your fault, but you just wanna show your efforts, yeah, yeah. Cause you care, you wanna see your brother straight. It don't always work like that, no. Cause you care, you wanna see your brother straight. And it still send a shock just to know that my granny, she gone. And I won't get to see her when I visit back home. Every single moment I get my all. And if I get a chance to love, I gotta show it all. So I'ma stay mission-minded. Now voice, I'm declaring silence. When you alone feel like an island. I said when you alone feel like an island. Praise God, I'm not alone no more. But that dark state of mind used to be my home. And I still remember the lyrics that come from that song. Sad song over and over, this the saddest song. Sad song over and over, this the saddest song. I really don't miss it a bit. But that old man tried to come back and exist. And I gotta keep conquering them over again and over again and over again. And this is what it feel like, just to see from that real life. Said this is what it feel like. This is what it feel like. Said this is what it feels like. This is what it feels